So close, yet so far for Mousesports after a great start to Inferno, their choice. SK turned it on and they came back with authority to win 16-14 in the end. You can see what it means to them, but on the other side of the coin, Mousesports were devastated. They looked absolutely gutted. Chris J was just sat there looking at his screen, just like, what happened? What happened to that win? So you got to feel, man, they're already on tilt street as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up 10-2 and you're starting to even like make sure that that's going to go into overtime, like even in that last round, they did so well in that middle exchange, that banana push from Chris J. I thought they were going to force the extra rounds, and all of a sudden, Fallen and Cold still pull it out, and so you can't really do much but shake your head at that when you feel like you were, for one, should have been closing that map out after the first half performance, and then missing out on overtime where you felt like you had it in the bag.
But they've got to mentally reset. They've got to come back into Mirage and try and dethrone SK. I mean, it's really that simple. If they don't, they're out the event. So from here on out, it doesn't get any easier, but they've got to put the time, they've got to put the grind in. But there's no doubting that SK are in prime position to just 2-0 this series.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they are 8-1 in Mirage offline. They've really revitalized the map since Phelps came on board. Like the Phelps for combo on how they control middle. Taco being very good at being aggressive lurk on the A side of the map. That's just their T side. Their CT side very powerful. When you think about like the double op that Cold and Fallen can run and how they play their positions on the map. The fact that Fallen seems to be revitalized now. I know he had a bit of a slump there when Phelps first joined, but now he's back to being world class. And so, and also you got to think head to head. I mean, it was SK who were able to beat Mouse on Mirage over in the EPL Season 5 finals just recently. I would say that for Mousesports, though, if you ignore that, like this probably is one of their best maps offline, actually, in the limited amount of play they've had with this lineup. So there's still a little bit of hope for them there, but certainly SK are the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you have to play to your own strengths, right? You can't completely play to the enemy's weaknesses. And when it comes to SK, there aren't that many weaknesses anyway, as it stands. So understandable why we are in this situation, but it's the reason why I think Mousesports will be so bitterly disappointed they weren't able to get over the finish line on Inferno, because it given that little buffer, you know, then they would have definitely got to cash at the very least if they did end up losing the second map of Mirage. But yeah, as you said, just a few weeks prior, they got battered pretty hard on Mirage, and they'll be hoping that lightning doesn't strike twice. Yeah,
I mean, Mouse has never really been able to conquer this team offline. Even when you look at like older lineups going back into last year, it was, you know, typically the Brazilians able to deal with them pretty handedly. So history certainly is serving SK well, and just their current form is there. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mousesports have done a lot of work lately. This lineup has actually produced much more than probably people anticipated when they first saw it come together. With Nico departing, you kind of think to yourself that they lost like a really big piece, that they would certainly crumble after that fact, but they've done really well online. They've had a couple of good performances offline as well now, like, you know, getting some good map wins here and there. And this would be huge for them if they could actually challenge SK, you know, a team of their caliber in a situation like this. And we'll see how it works out, as we should be getting into Mirage here any moment now to see how this series finishes out.
Yep, just waiting on the players to get themselves all ready and raring to go. I'm sure Mousesports may need a little bit more time just to mentally reset. I mean, it still looks like they're pretty devastated, honestly, if you look at their face, look at their body language. Doesn't look like a team that's necessarily ready to start kicking off Mirage. Dennis in particular looks just like he's gone. He's mentally checked out at this stage.
Yeah, at different points we've seen, you know, people in their hands over their head, like Rop's one camera shot was like that. So definitely the mental fortitude could be an issue there, especially when you have Chris J as the in-game leader, a guy who's not very experienced in that role. He's only been doing it a very short time since, you know, Nico departed, and they were even actually after Nico departed, it was actually guys like Speedy who took over the leadership for a little bit there. And now that he's gone, now it's all on Chris J, and we're going to see them try to defend against what looks like a very heavy B apartment switch here from SK.
There's Oscar, and it is going to be drilling into the head of Phelps, additionally on Cold, Zera, and Taco. And that's one hell of a way to kick off map 2. Just what they were looking for. Chris J with a smile on his face.
Yeah, they just got run through the blender right there. That round was over pretty much as soon as it started. It was such a quick maneuver from SK Gaming, and it was just as quickly shut down here by the work of Oscar, mostly with that USB, dealing out those headshots. So not a bad way to kick things off if you're Mousesports, given what just happened to you on Inferno.
Definitely worse ways to start a second map, that's for sure. Fallen, of course, no huge surprise that he's going to be dipping into his back pocket and pulling out a scout. Pretty standard stuff for him. Both Phelps and Foot over on the B-App side can wrap themselves through underpass. if they are required. The rest of the team residing just outside of ramp, and Taco in Palace with a Deagle. Plenty of one-tap potential on the side of SK.
And they're looking to be able to get through underpass and get up connector and split this A bomb site. The problem is Dennis is perched right here waiting for an underpass push, and he could really cut off any ability to split the site, but there goes the kill from Fur. Christay's still here, though. We can still spot them going through connector and still be able to put something against this.
Important that Oscar went for that peak because Christay was more occupied with mid, and now Fallen is going to get destroyed from behind. Rops using that FAMAS to devastatingly strong effect. Has seen one player in ramp, and I think Taco made some noise. So SK Gaming, their days are numbered in this round, you have to feel, especially as Christay is on the long wrap around from T-Spawn. No reason for Mousesports to budge an inch. They know the rotation and the flank is about to come to fruition now. Allows them to stay in position. So many angles have been covered. But Taco still lands a one tap. And had coldzera have landed that into connect, this round had got real interesting. At this stage, Mousesports just have to hold on to the rest of these weapons, otherwise this is going to hurt them economically speaking, and Taco goes in for another one deke. And cheekily, he thinks, I'm going to try and hold down the bomb plant. Won't be happening, but I mean, Mousesports do concede 3 plays, and that's going to sting.
Yeah, good work by Oscar, though, to, you know, shut down that connector portion of the attack and really make it difficult on SK to do a whole heck of a lot as far as bomb planting goes. Yeah, they do have to do a bit more bomb than they probably want to, but at the very least, they know they're up against basically a full save here from SK, and this can be where they gain that ground right back, as it is mostly Glocks for SK. A couple of Deagles out there on Taco and Fallen. Pretty default setup for them as well, not really doing anything too special other than really quickly getting through underpass again to middle, so seems like mid-A is still a thought, or just, you know, heavy catwalk play as well.
I do like the couple Deagle pickup though. On the T side, of course, it's going to be cheaper to get yourselves an AK Kevlar anyway, as opposed to the CT side, but also they know that Mousesports took quite a few casualties. This continues to apply the pressure, and with Fallen already landing a 1 deke, Mousesports just into damage limitation mode. Dennis gonna get peaked, but it's Fur that comes out second best in that confrontation. Christay needs to check his angles, or he could be a goner. Phelps is up there, just perched on top of the ledge. Not showing anything as of yet. Gets dinked in the side. There's gonna be some questions asked of Christay for sure, as Dennis gets killed right next to him. Christay is gonna make amends with another couple of frags, and now still on Taco. Has the bomb, and he's in underpass. But again, Mousesports probably will take the round, but it's not clear cut. It's not been flawless. They still take casualties.
And Taco just trying to see if he can't fit in a bomb plant here. He will get a one-on-one against Lowell over in the B bomb site, which means he might be able to at least get that extra money by placing the bomb here, as he does cross through.
This bomb plant would be the nice cherry on top, and it will come through. Now Taco, aim punch was always going to be a factor. Thought maybe that 1 dig was on the cards, not quite. Mousesports will take a 3-0 lead, but they've had to rebuy a couple of times, and SK with a bomb plant will have a solid purchase into this one.
Yeah, this is where the real test comes, because now you're going to have to deal with Fallen being very mobile with the AWP all across the map. A ramp, B apartments, out middle, of course. How do you manage that? How do you manage the tag team of Phelps and Fern, how they can control middle? Phelps also has this really uncanny ability on this team to get into window room quite a lot, or even in ladder, just whatever. So he's going to be able to cause a lot of havoc. And like I said, Taco is quite a good A-side player, so they have a lot they can do. They have a deep playbook on what executes they can run. And this is going to be one of them, a heavy apartments play. Just Phelps soloing out middle here. Dennis playing aggressively.
Fallen has the orb, but it's glass cannon, so he could afford a few more nades. Dennis just on the other side of the smoke to Phelps. He gets found wanting by Christay. And now Lowell's been flashed out in prime position to strike, lands it onto Taco. That is some pretty solid fragging, but it's only going to yield 1 kill for the time being. The floodgates haven't been opened just yet, but SK at least will get onto the site and get the bomb planted and put the pressure now in the hands of Mousesports. That looked like it was very close to landing, and I think Fallen even assumed that was the case as well. But after he's missed that shot, that could be the difference maker here in this round. Dennis is spamming up through the bench, leaving coldzera in a 1-on-4. There's the first. Looking for a second, he connects it. Oh, and he gets a third as well. Surely he's not going to pull this one off. Oh, Caldera, the man, the myth, the beast. What a play.
It's like every time you see Cold alive in a 1vx situation, you can never feel too comfortable that it's actually going to go in the favor of the ones who have the numbers, because Cold's just that type of player, just isolating everyone. They did peek him one by one, sure, but he even actively peeked that cat player. It's not like that guy overextended. He just delivers time and time again. You gotta love Coldzera. That's a heavy blow to Mousesports, because they were really looking strong in that round all the way through, and now they're on a low econ buy, and Fur trying to go ahead and put some more damage in. At least Dennis picks that up and gets away. Doesn't actually grab the gun, though, surprisingly enough. Guess he was a bit too afraid someone would be waiting for him.
And man, if Mousesports weren't tilted enough already after that last map loss, what a horrendous way to start this one off.
Again, that round looks so good for them. I mean, yeah, SK did well with their utility to get the bomb plant, but they had the numbers. They were retaking really well, and then Cole just pops that off.
Very few players can pull off a clutch of that stature. Coldzera is one of the chosen.
And here what I was talking about, look at Phelps. He's going to get inside this window room. He's going to mess with you here. He's going to make you really have to pay attention to this. And so even though it's even numbers, you have to respect it. This time, though, he's going to come up catwalk. The B attack is being set up.
Oscar gonna dust off the cobwebs with that kill, giving Mousesports the advantage. 33 seconds left, and SK have got to start to get a move on. Fallen is gonna dispatch of Lowell. Oscar still around the same position where he claimed the previous kill, but now he has to turn his attention elsewhere. That's Coldzera. He's feeling it, the adrenaline surge, forcing him into a double. And Rop's a player with so much skill, so much talent. Has to try and pull off a 1v3 clutch. Not gonna happen. Not while Coldzera is in position to land a third of the round. SK pick up a second.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I know to some people Coldzera had a bit of an off event over at EPL Season 5. It was still good. Like, he still had a positive rating, positive KD, but he wasn't at that monstrous level that you normally expect from him. But he is definitely roaring here on Mirage to go ahead and get this to a tie right away, it seems, as Mousesports will just be on USPs after the blows they've been dealt in the previous two rounds. Again, Phelps will perch out here at middle. Keeping it fairly default on the SK side. A little bit of a double A setup, though, so a little bit more presence on that side. Also, not too much of a focus on middle. In fact, they're really kind of using Fur to try to get into B, and he'll find that it's empty. So they may swing this bomb around now, especially if you can hold market.
Phelps going to be in the thick of the frags. Picking up 3 and a 4th as well. Solid work, even though it was an eco, still hats off to him. Solid spray control and also having the clarity of mind to tap at range. Mousesports don't straight back in with a rifle purchase. It won't include an AWP. No one had enough funds. Chris J, odds-on favourite to go just for an M4. With a bit of utility behind it. Indeed he shall. Just the one flashbang.
Yeah, double AWP set up on T side for SK Gaming. Not something that's too common for them. They throw it out every now and then. Looks like they'll both be actually perched up at the top of middle. Meanwhile, Taco catching that aggression over here at A ramp from Chris J. So again, the dominoes begin to fall. And Fur's already up connector. He's gonna have Phelps with them. Again, there's such a dangerous 1-2 punch to deal with in situations like this. They love that heavy connector play, and they have great positioning now and all the time in the world.
No kits and only 5 flashes with well over a minute on the clock for the Brazilians. And to make matters worse, they've lost their young talent. Lowell, Dennis and Oscar. Do you have it within you to clutch this round out? Because if you don't, SK is starting to shift through the gears. We're starting to see the SK that we know can just brutalize enemies. Roll down to 9. Dennis, now all that remains. His position compromised. Chance of survival minimal. Now, has at least taken Fallen out with him, although I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to get their hands on that second AWP if they choose. It's going to be close. They actually miss out on it, but again, I'm not sure that's necessarily going to be a huge deal because double ops aren't really that much required on the T side.
No, not at all. I mean, Cole could easily just pass this thing over to Fawn, but he has a great spawn for middle or upper B apartments, so I think he'll just keep the AWP in a situation like this.
Plus, I think when you know Mousesports are likely on pistols, double ops, that's a really risky buy to have.
Indeed.
So go with the AKs, go for the room clearers. And yeah, as you highlighted, coldzera goes for the fast mid-peak. Nothing is there for him. Instead, there's a crossfire established in Palace, and both Phelps and Taco will get the early kills, putting this round to rest almost immediately.
So after the 3-0 start from Mousesports, it's been all SK Gaming. Now it starts with that big 1-on-4 clutch from coldzera. Gets another big round right after that. And they've just been rolling with it ever since. Rops, though, does get a kill here. He's got it into a 3-on-3, and he has the AK now in his hands, so there's a little bit of something here brewing for Mousesports. Have 2 players on the A-bomb site, and this is where the focus is going to be for SK.
Ooh, nearly line up for Ops. Not able to get the work done. But Lowell, oh, he's got himself 2 P250 kills. Both of them were low. Scavenging the kills. And now look who it is again in yet another clutch. Different circumstances. The bomb is out in no man's land. He's going to have to make a trek across there with half a minute to go. Just making sure these angles don't have one of the CTs within them. Mousesports playing it smart though. They're sticking together, clumping on CT and also triple box, and they've done it. Mousesports have returned the favor in pretty much a full-on pistol round, have made it stick, and have brought it back to 4-4.
Yeah, really well done by Mouse to tie it right back up. Big play from Rops. He was the one who kind of opened it up, but then it was Lau who puts on the exclamation point on the round with those P250 frags and finishes it off the job there in the end. So we're all square now. SK slow to get the full buy going. They're going to go into a full-on default now. Making sure to get Fur through underpass. They're going to put a lot of focus on middle, but Mousesports are looking to actively play middle right now. Dennis, though, is just kind of getting stuck between a lot of utility, and Fur's going to be able to get the backstab. Also able to rear up and grab Chris J on the balcony as well. What a shot. That is not easy to hit at all when you have to go just straight up like that.
Take nothing away from Fur, but he should not be able to trade off on both those players by himself. Mousesports, I mean, that's the cardinal sin of mid-control. Rops is going to come back with a kill, but it's the B side of the map that is the issue right now. It does allow him to rotate. They're not even 100% sure, up until the moment they just heard the bomb was planted, that it even was necessarily a B hit, so now Rops has no reason to hide around A anymore. He's going to join the rest of his team, but it appears, actually, A is going to be his destination after all, because it will be a save. So this game just keeps going back and forth. SK will take the lead once more. Vitally important that Mousesports don't drop any of these weapons, though. Oscar not seeing anybody on the approach. So it seems like we will end in this stalemate scenario with Mousesports keeping their weapons alive alongside SK, but of course the victor will be the SK Gaming boys as they pick up the round with minimal bloodshed.
Yeah, I mean, that round is pretty much single-handedly won by Fur's efforts here. I mean, I think Dennis just getting trapped trying to play aggressive middle certainly hurt. Good utility to give Fur time to get through, but that second kill on the Chris J was devastating. And so the double op's actually going to come out for Mousesports now. It's going to be Chris J and Oscar. Chris J normally a B rotation player now, but he's going to actually have his AWP over towards middle, I believe. Nope, never mind. He is playing over towards the B-bomb site. It's going to be Oscar who has his just anchoring the A-bomb site. And again, they're going to put rifles focused on middle. Mousesports does tend to like to play aggressive middle on CT side. It hasn't worked out for them really yet, especially that last round. But we'll see what's going to go on here as SK definitely have a pretty big focus over towards the A-bomb site. A lot of utility out there as well. They definitely have plenty of smoke setups for A, but quick to shift back into just more of a default.
Despite all of the back of that previous save. Plenty of firepower, but they are running a little bit scarce in terms of nades. SK really trying to feel out the opposition, look for any weaknesses in the armor. So far, nothing forthcoming.
do slide that bomb back over to A ramp. They have Taco inside the Palace. Players towards the middle as well. They can easily come underpass. So this could be a connector A split. Maybe a slight fake over towards B with the utility, but then they'll quickly jump through underpass and try to add to the attack by splitting up middle. That's exactly going to be the case.
A bucket load of nades fly over to B, but as soon as they see no one pushing behind it, they know it's going to be more of an A-centric push. The fact that they have taken down a couple players, though, on mid really opens up the options and ROPs between so many terrorists. Never really had an opportunity or a chance. Chris J with a secondary AWP. That was not the prettiest of confrontations. Let's just leave it there. And SK flawlessly picked up the round and put Mousesports back into a horrible place. And again, Chris J's face just tells it all, really. Tells the tale of how this best of three has been going for Mousesports.
Yeah, again, it's just SK playing that default so well. That's really what they've tried to get back to. Like, after they had their struggles at Star Ladder and IM Katowice, I think it was even an interview that Fallen or one of their players said they need to get back to the fundamentals, the things that made them so great, the system. You know, and they're seeing them work off that default so well. Just make those slight little tweaks to find the pick and capitalize. And they're going to go for it again for coming underpass. Cold this time gets the opening pick. Over here near Catwalk, they push Palace. Taco there, ready for that as well. So on the aggressive plays on limited firepower from Mousesports, they are dwindling in numbers.
Now walking in, though, as Dennis lands their headshot onto Phelps, is going to give them another weapon to take through into the next round. Because you assume they're not going to go for the retake.
Oh, no, definitely not.
A bit of a blunder, to say the least.
Just kind of a gamble here from Mousesports, and Phelps did enough work to hold them in place to make sure that A bomb site stayed wide open for SKSL. Now push it to 7-4, so their T side is really getting going now. I mean, Mousesports have only won, what, like one round in the last 7 or 8 that we've played, so...
Correct, yep.
It's definitely, once the money got in order for SK Game, and they really haven't let up. And again, they already have that one map advantage, winning Inferno 16-14 if you're just joining us, so... Mousesports need to get back into this, otherwise they will be eliminated.
Coach sat down. What does that tell you? That is the look of a defeated man, if ever I've seen one. But they're not out of this just yet. That's the thing. It's only 7-4. You're against SK. They are juggernauts. It's on Mirage. Sure, there's so many reasons to be dismayed if you're Mousesports. But they haven't hit the 16th round yet. Mousesports, wake up. Come on.
Yeah, they have a good buy going here. They have Oscar with the AWP. We know how great he can be, so we'll see. They have a, drift towards the A bomb site here for Mouse, and you certainly see SK looking for the 1-4 split, just cold lurking middle. Everything else coming up the A ramp, but Rops goes down. The trades are favoring SK right now. 2 for 1 so far.
Dennis trying to use the flashbangs to carve out a clutch, but won't be happening just yet. All of SK are low. They do have the man advantage, and Oscar, where's the shot on the cross? Wasn't far off. Phelps using a flash of his own to force out his position. Comes out second best, though. Lowell has his number. Fur and Fallen. Oscar destroys Fallen, didn't even have a chance to react. But Fur's on the long haul around on connector. Not making any noise at all. They're going to line up from the first kill is forthcoming. There's a smoke on there. The molly's not going to work, so you have to push the site right now. And Lowell's not able to get the defuse. It was very close. But Fur makes it stick.
That was gut-wrenching because you felt like when Fur pulls out the Molotov and he's inside of a smoke, there's no way it's going to work, as you noted that maybe they were going to get that one, but Fur somehow still finds the frag in just enough time to hold Mousesports off, and so SK keep the lead building. It's only going to get worse as SK are going to be up against a very low buy in this round. Mousesports just have to take a gamble here at the A bomb site. They're actually going to put everyone really through connector in the open arms of Phelps with the AK, who will greet them lovingly with the embrace of that AK-47. Dennis finally pops one off, though.
Taco padding those stats. A full house of kills, 3 for him and 2 for Phelps. Mousesports straight back in. Could be another double up pickup as Chris J has enough, and indeed they will pull the trigger on just that. Just the one kit, but that could be more than enough. And again, It hurts to see that Mousesports look so dejected, man.
We'll see. At least they have double op now this time around. And again, they want to play that aggressive mid. It's something that they love to do, but it's like Furtus keeps backstabbing in their middle. He's going to keep delivering even more pain. Everything falters at middle for Mousesports. All their eggs in that basket, and they drop out the bottom and shatter everywhere.
Lowell 1-on-5. Bomb about to get planted, and the SK gaming machine continues to churn out rounds. It's efficient, it's effective, and terrifying all at once. And Mousesports, they just can't do anything about it. They don't have the manual, they have no way of taking apart this machine or derailing the juggernaut that is SK gaming.
Yeah, I mean, SK pretty much firing on all cylinders at this point. The frag distribution among their top 4 players is only about a 4 or 5 frag spread. Fallen there towards the bottom, but he hasn't really been asked to do a whole heck of a lot in this game. Not the way that guys like Phelps and Fur have been playing. That tag team have really been dictating the pace at middle. Even when Mousesports have directly contested it, trying to disrupt SK, they can't do it. And they can't even save that gun either. Fallen throwing the icing on the cake, so to speak, from the SK perspective. Meanwhile, I mean, there's really not much going for Mousesports. No one's really stepping up and kind of being the carry. They're all hovering around the same level.
Lowell's able to get another M4 anyway to replace the one he just lost, but a real bruh moment. Fallen with the fadeaway Tech 9 headshot. Last round of the half, Mousesports in dangerous territory. Chris J is going to get pinged off first Tech 9, but Dennis will return fire. Of course, they know exactly where he is, SK Gaming. And as a result, Dennis will be backing away, but he has only an incendiary to his name, so he's kind of stuck in this purgatory situation. Where does he push or does he try and pull back? And he was caught in two minds. He almost death by indecision, and it's fallen to push him over the ledge. I mean, this has SK written all over it. It's hard to see how Mousesports can clutch this round.
Yeah, it feels like a formality at this point. Yeah, we'll go on a little bit longer, but as people just keep feeding SK, they should pull up an 11th round. And again, the last 12 rounds of this half, SK's only given up 1. The domination's clear. We'll see what Lau can do, though. He's got it into a 1-on-3, but the bomb's making its way to the A-bomb site. He does have a kit. He's got an incendiary. He's got a little bit to work with here, but he has to hit some really nice frags.
Domed. And as you highlighted, I mean, Mousesports get 4 rounds, but 3 of them are off the pistol. So that's 1 rifle round that they're able to pick up for themselves. And that pretty much tells you all you need to know about how that first half went.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's just been all SK gaming ever since, gee, I don't know, like the last 5 rounds of the first half of Inferno. I mean, they've just really been tearing it up ever since. Hasn't been much of a response for Mousesports. They almost forced the OT on Inferno, but didn't find it. And here on Mirage, they've really lacked for much of anything. So
10-2 Dust into a 16-14 map, and then we've gone from 3-0 to 11-4. When SK start showing up, they really string those rounds together. There's not much stopping them.
No, and now you got to feel like Mousesports need this pistol round just to hang in this. Otherwise, it would just be, I feel like, an overwhelming lead from SK at that point if they can get the 3-0 star. But we'll find out here in just a few seconds how the rest of this plays out. Again, this is for elimination. Winner of this, I believe, would move on to play CLG tomorrow in the semifinals. As, of course, it is Immortals winning the winner of the next game, which will be Fnatic Gambit.
Yep, that's right. On the peak, 5 players coming his way, but they're actually going to double stack this. He may not expect the second player in his Cold Zera, who's going to land 1. And finally, his clutching magic subsides. The resistance has been applied. Fallen will try and fill his shoes with his own USP. And he's getting close a number of times, but he's not quite finishing off what he starts. And Oscar will use the USP against the CTs, leaving Fur in a 1-on-3. Bomb's about to get planted on default. So can't be covered from the B-App side, which is where Chris J currently is. And this time they will double peek, and it's Oscar who picks up a third. So, Mousesports with both pistols. This does give them a bit of foundation in which they can build off. They've got to keep it going here, Dust. I mean, there's no room for error anymore. You make a mistake, you've pretty much been knocked out of the event.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had too many consecutive pistol round victories for teams, but Mousesports do manage to pull it off here on Mirage. But they have to follow it up with that 3-0 start, and Fallen, he's got that scout. Can rake in the headshot frags, or you can be kind of the assist master for these CZs. Again, we talked about it, one of the best scouts in the world. So you can't be feeling too comfortable if you're Mousesports. And oh, the one team from Coltera, you give him a pixel, that's all he needs. He puts one through the eyes of Dennis, and so already a 5-on-4 for SK.
And that really is threading the needle with that shot. You can only see the very top of Dennis. And he converts it into a kill, and it's a clean kill at that. So now they're able to relocate. They set up a trifecta on A. In fact, it's going to be a fourth player joining them. This leaves Taco by his lonesome over on the B side in apps.
Yeah, they at least have a smoke to block out Fallen Scout, so that should allow them to hopefully not get tagged on their way in. Could also just isolate this player on balcony.
Here come the smokes, but Fallen's going to be pushing in closer range, now using that smoke as a sanctuary as he gets tagged, but will be fragged on the retreat. Coldzera with another deagle. And now this is in dangerous territory. Oscar and Lowell going to try and pull them out of this murky water that they fell into. Fer and Taco both with CZs. They're up against the Galil and an AK. In terms of firepower, you'd fancy Mousesports. In terms of how this game's been going, you'd fancy SK. And they are delivering so far. Oscar, in another clutch scenario, can see the tip. And will be taking Taco down a notch or two. Big clutch, but Mousesports only surviving with one player. It's far too close for comfort.
Yeah, I think the big catch there actually was Lau getting the kill from the player Palace. If that player stays alive and sneaks another one in, this probably goes in favor of SK, but manages to get it into a 2-on-2. And then Oscar will be able to seal the deal. So it is 11-6, and now they have SK on a save. So this can be where Mousesports, start finding their footing. This can be where they hopefully start racking up rounds, as they will go aggressive at B, but not fully committed. They're just, using Dennis to hunt for information with, the lowest possible weapon he can buy, basically, which is a MAC-10, low-cost SMG. Not too much risk losing it. Oscar, meanwhile, picks up the flank at A.
So all MAC-10 work. Could be good for another one. He is very low, though, and has to trade out to the Glock, but that's all that he is requiring. Taco takes him down, but it's the expendable weapon of a MAC-10. No huge loss for Mousesports. They want to convert some of these SMGs into AKs anyway. Chris J on the prowl. He needs to be careful. If he doesn't check his left-hand side, he's going to be a goner. I was going to say for a second, maybe Phelps would have thought about, do I try knifing? But Chris J, he could sense it. So Mousesports will pick up a 7th. They're going to make a real go of this map. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, it's good to see them climbing back into it. Would have been painful to watch them just get eliminated in such a one-sided fashion, especially the effort they put in on Inferno. And just kind of the progress they've been making with this lineup. So they're right back into this game, but SK will be on to the bye now. Mostly going to be M4s. There may not even be an op included in this round. I don't think they have the money for it. Yeah, it's going to be just 5 rifles. And we'll see what Mousesports wants to do here. Again, typically a team on Mirage that are just, fairly aggressive, like to do those 1-4 splits. Like to hit connector heavy through underpass, like to just, play fast-paced Counter-Strike, and this round will be no exception to that rule. But their mid-lurk, he may get caught. No, he does win the battle against Fur. That will help things along as he puts that smoke on Stair's side.
Surprises me that Mousesports wouldn't assume that peak could be forthcoming, because SK, they're going to have low economy in terms of nades. They've just lost the first player. Kind of tailor-made for that early peak from a CT's perspective. And Fallen, alongside Coldzera, just lining them up. Spoiled for choice is Coldzera. And Oscar, again, he's really been stepping it up. He's really been the only beacon of light, and their foot was spotted by Phelps through the smoke, and that's all he needed. And Mousesports, out of the 7 rounds they've picked up, 6 of them have been off the back of pistols. That needs to change.
I think Fallen probably has the impact frag of the round. Phelps obviously is the one who finishes it off, but when Fallen pushes that smoke on A ramp and gets that kill, especially after their mid lurk did so well, I believe that was drops to kill Fur and get them the man advantage, and they were starting to roll up to execute, and then you just let Fallen kind of push you and get that free kill.
Yeah.
And then he stays alive. He gets a second kill in the round, I'm pretty sure, from Firebox before he finally goes out. So that was the impact frags right there from SK to reel that one back in. There's another 1-4 setup here for Mousesports. This time to lean towards B.
Oh, not far off. This is something Oscar used to do back in his Hellraisers days as well. He was always a very aggressive AWPer on the B-app side. He loves this. He's got the reaction speed to match, picking up a pixel that jumps across.
That smoke doesn't phase him. He has a chance if they decide to repeat. They think it's safe because the smoke just misses through the...
It's the right idea, isn't it? But he's just slightly off. It's very similar, honestly. The word I was going to use about, you know, the whole Fallen peak in the last round was anticipation, and that's exactly what Oscar was doing there. He's anticipating a player to be around the barrel side of the van. There's only a couple of millimeters off, you have to feel, from actually connecting that shot. Instead, though, he loses 43 of his health. Not much in terms of utility for SK, though.
And now they're actually pivoting back over towards middle through underpass. Maybe a connector split imminent here, as they do still have one player outside the A bomb site. Smokes are coming in, so this is definitely going to be the push.
For watching the wall, just make sure it didn't get flashed. Didn't really matter in the end, and this is much better by Mousesports. Getting the kills where it counts. Couple players low, but SK's economy is 2. And that will get them out this round. They want to cash out while they're still ahead.
Just Mousesports sticking to their typical game plan. Again, they love these heavy connector pushes, and this time it pans out. They're able to catch Fur on the stairs. They also catch the player in CT spawn through the box. So the entries just go their way this time around. Rather than kind of getting caught out by Fallen's aggression, they're able to pin him up in CT spawn and clean house over on the A side of the map. Come out flawless victory unless an exit pops off. It looks like no one's really in position to do so. So yeah, Mousesports will take this one as clean as it gets, and they'll move one step closer to SK's lead.
As you can see there on the tally of economy, neither team really in great shape, so it didn't make sense for either team to push into one another. That Mousesports want to keep their economy ticking forward. SK want to make sure they can get a buy into this round. Won't be fantastic. We'll include a UMP and Fallen. What's he on here? An M4. Alrighty then. 4 assault rifles, UMP. All off the back of that save. Oscar now aggressive through a ramp. This is always dangerous because you're expecting nades to fly your way, but instead it's Fallen. Now, is that smoke going to allow him to pick up the orb? Or does he even care about it? Doesn't seem likely. The Mousesports is a direct retaliation. They're going to try and make amends for Oscar's death. That's just going to cost them another couple, though, as Phelps and Fur both chime in for kills. Mousesports are lost at sea. And Rops can only get the 1 kill. That is just clinical. CT side by SK Gaming.
That was just such a sick angle Fallen was holding. That's like literally the perfect counter to a slow creep up A ramp, is being on top that box. I mean, think about it. He's at headshot level on the CT spawn box, triple box. You know, he's worried about stairs. The last thing he's expecting is someone on top of default boxes like that, and that gets your opper out the round right away. And then SK just pounce on top of that. Fallen gets a second kill. See some other players popping off as well. And now it's 13 rounds for SK, and money's starting to get low on Mousesports again. They put together what they can this round, but it is limited. Again, trying to look for that mid control, that 1-4 split on connector, but they're getting denied at underpass for just a moment. Looks like they still will go for that eventually. They're just having to take their time now, having to make sure that no one's aggressive on middle. Now they'll begin to push through.
Smoking off window. Fur is still very much a threat on the board. Hasn't been smoked off himself. Fallen is trying to see if he can get something to stick through the smoke, but in doing so, now Fur is able to jump on top of that kill. Chris J does trade out though. But again, Phelps getting kills elsewhere. It just seems like Mousesports can never keep themselves even when the gunfire starts going down. They're losing out on these trades. They're not getting enough avenging kills. Boosting up onto the short box to see if they can go for a different angle onto bench. Oscar misses out That could cost him dearly. Is Taco now going to open up with his M4? It's all on Oscar. He's already picked up one. It would be a 1-on-4, but Coldzera not allowing him to clutch. He is not just the clutcher, but the anti-clutch too, it would seem. And SK have a 6-round lead, just 2 off winning. And again, that face, man.
It tells it all, doesn't it? I mean, that round, Mousesports did well to get control of middle and clear underpass. And at that point, their options were open. We could boost window, we can try to attack connector, or we can look for picks up catwalk and open us up for some type of site split. Now, the ideal scenario would have been to get up connector because they did have ROP sitting outside the A-bomb site again, just kind of playing their normal default. And so I think that's what they were really looking for, but Phelps was doing really well kind of controlling that from the window room, so that wasn't really an option. So they try to bounce off into catwalk, and they don't really find the opening there either, right? I mean, Taco, Coldzera, not really letting them through. So it's like they're getting some of that initial control. They're kind of building that foundation, but they can't get off the launching pad. Like they can never actually, you know, skyrocket in somewhere, so to speak. They're getting held off. And so now SK are just 2 rounds away from putting them out of the tournament.
Whereas it seems like SK on a whim can just take off and get 5, 6, 7 rounds in a row, exploding in with a huge streak.
How many rocket references can we make there?
I think we're probably done now, to be honest.
I think we've probably
we've used them.
Yeah.
And speaking of using, it's going to be a pause that's came and gone. Mousesports now back into the fray, back into the action. On the brink of defeat. Furt with an aggressive push, but he is going to get taken down by Rops, who had a solid performance on Inferno. Phelps with his M4, so many players pushing him. But it's going to be Dennis that actually claims the kill. And so is the magic of the pause going to prove to be a thing? Chris J, how are you not getting that kill? That is absolutely unbelievable that Fallen is able to escape with 22 health. And that in itself could have just cost them the round. I don't know what to say about that, but let's just keep in with the action as Mousesports have Dennis and Oscar to try and stop this defuse. Dennis with the M4, Oscar with a Tech 9. And Oscar is going to go to town with the Tech 9 for 1 kill. Coldzera spraying, but he's going to go down, and there is Dennis. They have managed to claw that round back, but man, that was looking so poor at one stage.
Thank God for Oscar. I mean, I don't know what else you say about that, because, yeah, Fallen, no way he's supposed to get that kill, but he does have that uncanny ability with his maneuvering to be able to do stuff like that. If you slip up, he's going to punish you for it. It almost looked like deja vu from rounds ago where Rops gets the mid-aggression part of it. But then as they hit into A, they run into a lot of trouble. At least Oscar helps them close it off this time. So they're still floating around. They do have SK on lower money now. You can see the repercussions. It's 2 CZs and a Mag 7 out there for them. So they're starting to chip away at SK a little bit here. If they can win this one, might even force out a save, and that's when you can really start closing the distance. Maybe start actually posing a threat to SK to finish this off 2-0. As again, Oscar looking for something here at B Apartments with the AWP. It's definitely looking like they run a strike over here. Again, keeping those 1-4 setups going.
Negligible damage taken by Oscar. I think he was getting tapped by a CZ actually through the wall there. So he lost 4 health. Nothing really lost though for Mousesports. They have a huge advantage in terms of nades and firepower. Really every metric that you'd want to use. The only thing I don't really have is real estate, but they're looking to change that right here, right now with some mid-presence.
Yeah, you could tell right there they just wanted to be able to quickly follow up if Oscar could get a pick at B. And that's kind of their MO, is to quickly follow up picks, but they didn't get it, so now they have to shift into middle. And it looks like, once again, they're going to try to knock on the door of Catwalk and Connector simultaneously, see which one opens up for them.
Can't help but feel that this could play into the wheelhouse of what SK Gaming currently possess up close and personal. It's where these CZs, the Mag 7, will shine alongside Fallen, who's gone for 1, does get picked off on the retreat. No retreat, no surrender. Suddenly, Mousesports are in a 1-on-3, and it falls upon Dennis, and he's gonna go down. Again, you just look at that round and you think, how do Mousesports lose that?
They're just not able to get a connector recently, man. Like, they get the mid-control, they just can't actually break through someplace else. They even had a ladder flank coming through window room on that one to try to add to it and try to cut off some of those rotates, but Fur just holds strong with the CZ. I think the fact that Fallen maintained control of A ramp as, like, kind of another position to fight connector from was also pretty big. They weren't, like, you know, bottlenecked into CT spawn or something. They had other options in how they were positioned, and so now they're at series point. They'll get 6 chances to put Mousesports away in 2 maps. and move on to the playoffs and knock Mousesports out. See what Mousesports can do. They had so little to work with in this round. Again, it feels like they're trying to go for that early B pick and see if they can't follow it up quickly, but Fallen denies it with the pick on middle.
The house of cards beginning to collapse as Mousesports have lost their in-game leader. Maybe he can be the puppeteer, pulling the strings from afar. From 6 foot under. Taco with a spray, able to get one. Only loses 15 health as well. Really exactly what they're looking for. Taco with a second as Oscar goes out peeking, but there's no real cohesion here. Lowell's too far behind to really do anything with his Tech 9 at range. He's not going to be able to get the upper hand onto Taco, and Rops 1-on-4 to save Mousesports, to keep the dream alive here at DreamHack Summer. Not gonna happen. Taco domes him, and SK have done it in 2. It took them a long while and a very laborious attempt on Inferno, but they do take down Mirage straight afterwards, and I can't help but feel Mousesports, they'll be absolutely devastated with this loss.
Yeah, I feel like they weren't even in that last round, man. I mean, I know it was a low buy, but they just seem so disjointed. I think, like, it just hurts when you feel like you're getting map control and you feel like you're setting things up very well, but then on the follow-through, you're just not successful. You can't find the entries you need. It's all great and good if you can get mid control, but you have to do something with it. It never really could. And those are 2 tough losses because they were so far ahead on Inferno. And then after they allowed the comeback, they still had a great chance to put into OT, and they couldn't do it. And then here, once again, they had their chances on Mirage, and then SK, once they got their money in order, they were just dominant. You know, they were just making big plays. They were firing on all cylinders for the most part. I mean, everyone was really performing that needed to, and yeah, I mean, it's just SK taking care of business.
I mean, you had an incredible clutch by Coldzera, who's pulled off a few.
That was a huge catalyst, you got to think.
Real plays, yeah. And it was straight after as well. I think it was 3-1 or 3-0, and he pulls off that clutch, and you just think they've just started to get momentum on the second map, and it's just been taken away from them. They never seem to recover after that. I mean, it's just always going to go one way.
Yeah, it just felt like once the money was in order for SK again, they got the plays they needed. Like, even when, you know, little things were starting to go Mousesports' way, someone else from SK would respond, you know, make a return frag, get them right back into the round. There was a lot good there from Mousesports, but you got to feel like the mental fortitude kind of started to cave in there towards the end after Inferno, and they could just never get back into it. Again, SK, you expect this from them. You expect them to be first seed, but now they've at least ensured they're going to make the playoffs as they were the favorites to win the whole tournament. So to that regard, you kind of can't, you know, harm Mousesports too much because they were always expected to be the underdog, but they had their chances.
Well, you've heard enough from us. Let's hear from SK themselves as Pala has an interview lined up on the stage.
That is correct, Vince. Thank you so much for that. I'm here. We were just having a casual conversation, me and Taco. I caught you slightly off guard, but we are now live on the stage. That was a pretty interesting performance. T-side, you guys looking fantastic. Can you tell us why that is? And then maybe also on the other side of things, why the CT side maybe isn't quite as strong, at least in this best of 3.
Hello, guys. I think our T-side was good because we have the best in-game lead in the world. Cheers, Fallen. So yeah, I think we just played better today. Yesterday was not a good day for us, but today we played better. And like I said, we have good strats. We were really comfortable to play Mirage. Inferno is a map that we're still learning to play, but we can play. So city side is not our side yet, but we will get there.
Okay, and going back to yesterday, you played twice against Singularity, you beat them, but then you came up against your Brazilian brothers in the form of Immortals, and that didn't go in your favor. Why do you think that turned out the way it did?
I think they were just the better team yesterday. They played really well, props to them, but I think every time we play against Immortals, it's a mind game. We know each other really well, and of course there is a lot of anti-threats. But they played better, props to them.
Are you going to be looking for revenge over the course of the tournament and in the future?
Yeah, I hope we can go to the grand finals. I think we're going to face CLG, and Immortal's going to face Fnatic or Gambit, right? So I hope we have a Brazilian grand finals, why not? So we can take the revenge as well.
Would the crowd like to see that, an all-Brazilian grand final? Maybe not, because Fnatic is here, so those guys are the hometown favourites. Going forwards from here then, how do you feel your chances are currently? Because I think a lot of people are tipping you guys as the favourites. You guys are my pick, and I think you're in very strong form. Would you agree? Would you think right now you are heading towards that first place spot?
There is no pressure. I think we are used to this kind of thing. But of course, now we are ranked the best in the world, so of course we are the favorites. But there's no pressure. We are here to play. We are here to win the tournament. There is a trophy inline, sorry, and we want to win this trophy. So there's no pressure at all, and we are ready to win.
How often do you think about placement? Sorry, not placements at tournaments, but overall rankings when you come into tournaments? Does it play on your mind? Oh, right now we're first. Oh, a few months ago we were third, fourth. Do you think about those things, or do you just kind of like focus on your own game?
Yeah, we don't like to focus on this kind of things. Of course, it's important, but the most important thing is the practice, the team overall, the tournaments, the trophies. So we don't care to the rank. Of course, like I said, it's an important thing, but overall we just care about the trophies. And if we are winning tournaments, if we keep being constant like we did last year, it's gonna be a good thing for us as well.
All right, final question then. Would you say right now, or well, where would you say you guys are right now and with Phelps in terms of overall kind of like skill level? Is there more to give? Is there more to come from SK? Or are you guys kind of like happy with how you're doing right now?
No, there's a lot more to learn. We're gonna spend this next 1 month here in Europe, so we're gonna have better practice. So I'm pretty sure that we can improve a lot, and we're gonna reach our peak, our best level in the major. I hope so.
No doubt. I mean, you have a lot of things coming up right now, though, over today and tomorrow. $100,000 on the line. Taco, any final things you'd like to say?
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Sweden. I love you guys. It's always good to be here. I hope you keep rooting for us. I know you like us, so that's a really good thing. And thanks.
There we go, Epitasio, thank you so much for your time. It's much appreciated. Now we will head back to the Corsair analyst desk to break that match down.
It would be our pleasure, Parla. Thank you so much. Getting to hear from Taco there as SK do secure the win and will be the second team to emerge victorious from their group. It was going to be a bit of a toss-up, but it does turn out that Group A features 2 Brazilian squads. Immortals first, SK second out of Group A, and we're going to be understanding why, joined by the ever-lovely Pimp and Vendetta. Sounds like a name of a post-hardcore metal band.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid band name.
Pimp Vendetta. Oof.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, with one song which we could call Immortals.
Immortals.
We'll just start seeing team names.
Okay,
what
yeah.
do you think? You like this
Fair.
brainstorm session?
No.
Okay. Counter-Strike though, gents. Mousesports, let's talk Inferno, and let's talk about the absurd lead that they had garnered at one point, Jacob. Is it as simple as some people in the community and of these guys at home will have kind of placed it as that clutch? Was that the breaking point, or surely there's more to it?
Surely there's more to it, but that was really the game changer. Like that clutch from Fer, which by the way was amazing. Like so cold, so clinical played by him. It's just amazing, you know. It breaks momentum. It was 9-1 at the time, I think. It kind of gave SK believing, okay, we can make this comeback, because it was a big lead Mouse had at the time. Obviously, there's more to it. The game were 16-14, so there was a lot of rounds to be played, obviously. But it kind of like when you make a play like that, it not only make it fair feel the game, you know. It makes the team believe in, okay, he can do this. Coldzera knows how good he is, you know. So if I do this next time, then we're suddenly in the game. Right. That's how like the whole like it just snowballs at that point, you know, for SK.
No, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I'm really glad you used the word momentum, because we've had the casters using it like every second sentence, and we're going to use it a lot on the desk because it seems so relevant to the gameplay, but it's sometimes quite hard for us to quantify
what momentum is.
Yeah, well, okay, so you win one round and then there's the momentum. Now, of course, there's an economical side to that.
Yep.
But there is more to it, right, Halvor?
Oh, definitely. And I guess that goes more back to what Jacob was mentioning of how you get a feel for the game, because if you're getting stomped, you're not really feeling like you have any sort of chance of actually doing anything. So if Fer actually pulls off a 1v4 clutch, all of a sudden he's on top of the world, and you know what happens when the best players in the world actually get confidence. That's when you see, you know, a Coldzera just take consistent. Olaf yesterday, or Olaf for 2015, right? Yeah. They just become this unstoppable machine that you really can't control, and that's never something you want to give away. And that's kind of what Mousesports did for a lot of periods of time on Inferno. First, it's a 1v4 clutch from Fer. They actually managed to bring it back the next round and reset SK, but lose to the following buy-up with a scout on the SK side and everything. So
that is so
it's dirty.
the transfer, not only does he get the transfer, he also finds the head of Oscar, and then Rops goes hunting.
But yeah, but speaking of, like,
so nice we showed it twice.
So yeah, exactly. And similar to what we saw in the 1v4 on Inferno, which again, amazing performance from Fur and coldzera in both situations, but also like a severe misplay from Mousesports' side.
Yeah.
Because you see, especially in that Mirage clip there, right there, you see them taking individual peaks, like making a 1v4 into a 1v1v1v1, instead of just actually having the cohesion to actually go together.
He made it like 4 1v1 duels.
Exactly. So
hey, duels. Quickly.
Oh yeah.
Just interrupting this. Boomio. Hey, they do duels. I just had to get it in there somewhere. It had to happen. Boomio, of course, one of the new kind of faces on the CS:GO block, where they do have a training academy now to help you with your smokes. You've got Hiko teaching you how to throw all the smokes in the world, and Mirage. Shox is doing the same, and as well as all of that, you have that duels, which I think for me, I probably shouldn't be mentioning it as much as I am, but is probably the selling point to me. Do be sure to check it out anyway. Boomio helping make this event happen. However, take 1v1 duels in the clutch.
No, it's never a smart thing to do. Obviously, it happens quite often because it's a hectic moment, and for Mousesports, you probably feel like, well, you have a 3-man advantage on him, so this probably shouldn't be an issue, even if one guy goes for that heroic play and just bum rushes into a site, and then guy number 2 and 3 does it, and all of a sudden you're in a really hairy situation. So it's those kind of mistakes that give SK the much needed momentum to start carrying on and just like dominating opponents. And obviously, if you're Mousesports, you can allow for that to happen, because already going into it, you're not necessarily going to be favored on each map in a course of a best of 3, and you also don't necessarily have the advantage in terms of firepower either. So yeah, there's definitely things for Mousesports to fix, but I think they could still look back at this match and feel like they had a shot for it. And it's just a matter, a couple of inches in the right direction for them, especially on Inferno. We get to see that third map on Cash, which we figured kind of would be a toss-up.
Right, your kind of win condition, as it were, was Mouse win one of the first 2, right, Jacob? That was where the world you could see this being an upset.
Yeah. It didn't happen, so it got to be a 2-0.
But that overtime, I mean, can we just talk about how Inferno should, I don't know which word to use here.
Shoulda, coulda,
woulda. Been an overtime. 2 versus 4. But what were the words that came out of your mouth, and I believe Parler's as well, when it was in that 2v4? You just went, think of the 2 players on SK you'd like in a 2v4. It would be Cole and it would be Fallen.
Yeah. And that's like, it speaks into Mouse. We talked about like how it gets Fur going, it gets SK going.
Right.
Like, there's only so much beating you can take as a team as well, Mousesports know they should have won Inferno. They had a big lead, they lost 2 stupid clutches. You gotta say it as it is,
No filter.
They felt that they should have won that map, and then you go into Mirage, you get a little bit of feeling for it again. This new map, momentum gets resetted, and then coldzera makes that 1-4. There's only so much beating you can take as a team while you still keep your head up. I can only feel and I can only understand if Mousesports must have been upset about that.
You can kind of relate to that feeling.
I can definitely relate to it.
Yeah, it's so hard to try and explain. I mean, I'm sure everyone has it in their games, and I personally have never had it on a stage like that, crowd like that, with money like that. But, even in the small kind of microcosm of your own game, you realize just how you get it's a real kick in the teeth. It is. It's a kick in the dick every time something like that happens.
and you can only take it for like
so long.
Much,
Right, and you think that the coldzera clutch followed by prior to Inferno, of course, and then you got all of that in one big ball, and just like, whatever. We could have got to Cash, but unfortunately, that's not the way the cookie crumbles. Not this time. Mousesports are eliminated. We could bring up the group just to quickly highlight, because Group A is done. Completely donezo. We have them locked in now, and this is how it has shaped up. We started with 4, SK and Singularity, 2 different ends of the Counter-Strike competitive spectrum. However, Singularity certainly did put up a fight, not only in their first, close to double digits, we also got to see them testing the aforementioned Mouse, who are just on stage now. 2-0, yes, but 16-14, 16-13. Singularity threw some serious punches, and both Mousesports, I think it was Chris J, as well as Fallen, both stating that they really did know how to hit their shots.
Yeah.
Group B is where we go to next.
Yeah, obviously we had the incredible journey of CLG playing 95 rounds in 2 best of 1s over the course of the day to secure themselves a spot in the semifinals. That crazy 5 overtime game versus Fnatic to cap the entire day off.
Yeah.
And obviously on the other side, Fnatic started off with a pretty confident win versus Cloud9. Which, again, took them to that semi-finals versus CLG. And then in the lower bracket, earlier today, we saw Gambit take out Cloud9 in a much more convincing fashion than what we saw from them on day 1.
And we have got it confirmed. CLG will battle versus SK. Now, we'll have lots of time to talk about that. We will. But kind of initial impressions before we do take our break of what could come tomorrow? For anyone that's, you know, departing, any die-hard Mousesports fans, why should they join us tomorrow for that CLGSK game? Because, I mean, they've done it before. They've caused upsets already in this tournament.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can only go so long. I remember when Immortals won DreamHack Summer last year, there was just a constant doubt, like, okay, this is where it ends, this is where it ends,
Our
this is where it ends.
predictions were not good.
Oh yeah, they were not on point. And who's to say what CLG can do? They are obviously putting the work in. They were the one team that stayed out throughout the entire day yesterday, just sitting on their computers, watching demos, just being prepared as you can be for the next matchup. And they've probably spent most of the day doing that for SK.
Yeah, and closing this one out, Jacob, but there is a lot to be said for the nothing to lose mindset in Counter-Strike. Do you agree?
I agree, like definitely. It's what usually where the underdogs perform the best, you know.
Yeah.
It's where you have nothing to lose. And if that game is not enough to drag the Mousesports fan in, it doesn't matter who wins of Gambit and Fnatic going up against Immortals tomorrow, and then you potentially have this dream final either between SK Fnatic, it could be SK Immortals. There's a lot to happen, you know. So
There is a lot.
I'm sure people will tune in tomorrow.
He's a storyteller, this one. Get him on the desk. I like it. Let's go take a break, though, because we have to catch our breath and pat Pimp on the back. When we do come back from the break, though, one more best of 3. Yes. It is going to be Gambit taking on Fnatic. He's already talked a little bit about it, but we'll talk much more about it after our break. And before we do take a break, let's strafe into one more reminder about the application known as, believe it or not, Strafe. Yes, indeed. Everything esports in the palm of your hand, iOS and Google Play. Grab it on your phone and you can keep track of your favorite players. Maybe you want to see what happened with Pimp. You know, where is he going? What's he doing? Is he going to hang out on the desk with that handsome man machine? Who knows? It's a mystery, but you can find out on Strafe. I don't even know if you can, but you should check it out all the same. Anyway, we'll take a break. When we come back, guys, one more best of 3. Gambit Fnatic in Sweden. You won't want to miss it.